You may have heard online or just heard people talking about the new visa bond pilot program that was recently announced. And we had not been bringing this up. There are lots of things that happen in immigration law, lots and lots of things, especially over the last few years, hundreds, several hundred important changes in the last few years alone. And we typically, because we work directly with married couples and engaged couples, we don't talk about a lot of things that happen in other visa categories that do not impact you. So we don't talk about things that don't matter to our demographic. But because you're asking this question, we'll go into exactly what this is that we're seeing here, and who it affects and who it doesn't affect. Hopefully, this will give a lot of you peace of mind. So first of all, I want to just generally mention, for those of you who are not familiar with the term bond that we use here in the US, a bond is just when in the legal system you pay money to guarantee that you do something. So if someone, if a judge is concerned that someone won't come to court, for example, they may say, well, you have to put down a lot of money. And then if you don't come to court, we're keeping the money. So they're guaranteeing that you come to court. That's an example of how a bond is used. And there is authority in the immigration laws for consular officers to actually require a bond for people who are coming to the United States. But it's very rarely used. And the guidance up to this point has said that it's discouraged. They really don't want consular officers at U.S. embassies abroad to just be charging everyone a bond to guarantee that they come back to their country of origin. And so that's kind of where we're at up until now. Now there has been this program announced. It's just a pilot program. They're testing out the system. And basically they've said that they're trying to understand how feasible it would be for the US government to charge people bonds who are coming as tourists. So the first thing you need to know about this is this does not impact K-1 visas, CR1 visas, any of the spouse or family immigrant visas are not impacted by this. This is only going to be tested on B1, B2 tourist visas. So, and it is a pilot program. We don't know exactly where they would be going with, what the long-term plans potentially are, but right now it's only going to impact B1, B2 visas and only a small group of people. And it's only going to impact people from certain countries. That's the other thing that's important to understand, is this is not going to be rolled out for people applying for B1, B2 visas in all countries and all US embassies. They are starting with countries that have a very high rate of people overstaying. Over 10% of people who come on tourist visas from these countries never return to their country of origin. So that's a pretty high rate. And so I'm just going to pull up the list to put, some of you are worrying about this, and no matter what I say, you're going to worry a little bit. So maybe if you see that your country's not on a list, that'll help you too. Know that doesn't affect you. That's half of the list, and then here's the other half of the list for this current pilot program. In true government form, they're rolling this out on Christmas Eve, because what puts you in the Christmas spirit besides, charging exorbitant immigration bonds to people who are visiting the U.S.? The supposed amounts are $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000 US dollars, which is a huge amount of money. But essentially, they're just supposedly testing whether, whether the system, how it actually works. Because to make a bond like this work, there has to be cooperation between different parts of the federal government that don't always have a lot of direct links. So between the State Department, which runs the US embassies, and the Department of Homeland Security, which is in charge of people who aren't leaving, and the immigration system inside the United States. So supposedly that's what they're testing right now. We'll see what happens. This may or may not go forward, depending on what the Biden administration wants to do with it. They might just be testing on a small number of people, and we'll keep you posted about what happens with this. But if you're not looking for a tourist visa, or you're not from one of these countries, this is not of concern to you right now, and we will certainly keep you posted.